okay? And if I have box or circle, I can replace that with circle or box, okay? Or vice versa, okay? So this is only concerning ands and ors. You can't just do this, box then circle, therefore circle then box. Nope. You can do it for ands, and you can do it for ors, but nothing else, okay? All right, and of course, these represent variables, so it could be a simple statement, complex statement, negated statement, or not. Okay, so generalized in that way. Okay, now associativity. Okay, notice on this first one I have box and circle and triangle. Notice that all of the operators are ands, okay? And notice that the circle, by way of the parentheses, is associated with the triangle. Well, suppose I want to change the association. I want the triangle or the circle to be associated with the square. I can do that by associativity. All I'm doing is moving the brackets or the parentheses over. And what I get is box and circle and triangle. All I did was move the parentheses. Everybody see that? Okay. Associativity you can use on a string of conjunctions and also disjunctions. So if I had box or circle or triangle, I could do the same thing. I could move the parentheses over, and what I would get is box or circle or triangle, okay? And of course, if I have something like this, I can go back to something like that, or vice versa, okay? So notice I can move those parentheses, but only because it's all conjunctions or it's all disjunctions, okay? I can't do anything equivalent if it's, let's say, conditionals or biconditionals. Can't do anything similar, okay? All right, that's associativity. Okay. So now, I think this will be enough room. Distribution, okay. Answering service. Distribution. Okay. Now this is when we have a mixes of ands and ors, okay? So distribution. Suppose I have a box and circle or triangle, okay? I can convert that, I can spread this box across. So let's just put this in words because it's easy to understand this way as an example. I have a burger and fries or onion rings. That's the same thing as saying either I have a burger and fries, or I have a burger and onion rings. Does that make sense? Okay. And so I can go from this to that, or if I had that, I could go back to this. Either way, okay? And now, notice this pattern. So this is the main logical operator of this, okay? And this is the minor. So main logical operator, and we'll call this minor, okay? And notice what happens is the main logical operator, the and, becomes the minor operator when we convert it, and the minor becomes the major. Everybody understand that? Okay, so that's an easy way to remember how this works. Because, notice here, the main logical operator was a conjunction. We can also do distribution with this kind. Box or circle and triangle, okay? So when we distribute it, let's let's just do this. We're going to distribute the box, and we're going to distribute it to a circle and to a triangle. And now, what kind of signs? Well, this is the major operator, this is the main logical operator, so let's make it the minor. And this is the minor, and that's the major. Okay, so it's the same pattern in terms of how the operators change, okay? Minors to majors and majors to minors, okay? That always helps me remember how distribution works, okay? Next on the list is double negation, but we don't need to really do double negation because we have this notation, the opposite of, right? So strictly speaking, let's suppose we had not P, then Q, not Q. So in many books, if we did a modus tollens, we have the opposite of this, so we get the negation of this, so we would get not P, okay? Which we know is P, but in other texts and stuff, they say you have to go to not P, and then you have to say double negation to get to P. That drives me crazy, okay? So we're skipping over double negation because we don't need it because we made this, we included this, okay? So that takes me to transposition, okay? And this is only for conditionals, okay? Box, then circle. I can change the order of these so long as I change their sign. Box and circle, I can change to the opposite of the circle, then the opposite of the box. Okay? So if I had not P, then Z, I could do transposition, and what I would get is not Z, then P. Everybody understand that, okay? And I could go back the other way. And of course, this could be a complex statement, blah, 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 all those things that I've said before. So transposition is only for changing antecedent consequences of a conditional, okay? Material implication, or a lot of times I just say implication. This allows to change from an if-then to an or vice versa, okay? So let's suppose we have a conditional, okay? I can change this to an or, okay? And when I do this, I negate the first thing, or get its opposite. The then changes to an or, and the second thing stays the same. Okay? And I can go this way as well, from an or back to a then, so I would have to change the sign. Okay? So if I had X, then Y, as an or, this would be not X or Y. Everybody understand that? So this is a very helpful rule, implication. This is transposition, and this is implication or material implication. Okay. That list leaves, there is the rule tautology, but we really don't need that because we have constructive dilemma, so I'm just going to ignore that one. So that just leaves us two more rules, material equivalence and exportation. Okay, material equivalence. Anytime you're dealing with a biconditional, the only rule that you have for getting to a biconditional that you don't have is material equivalence. And so let's remember our example of this. Suppose this says something like Fred goes fishing if and only if Barney goes fishing. Well, that means the same thing as if Fred goes fishing, then Barney goes fishing, and if Barney goes fishing, then Fred goes fishing. So if you have a biconditional, you can break it up into two different conditionals, okay? And then since this is an and, you could simplify to this one. And if you wanted that one, you could do a switch these two, and then do a simplification and get to that one. So this is very useful. But Fred goes fishing if and only if Barney goes fishing also means the same thing as either Fred and Barney go fishing, or Fred doesn't go fishing and neither does Barney. Got that? Okay. So, and you can go from this to that and vice versa. You can go from this to that and vice versa. So if you ever need to construct a conditional, you're going to look for parts like this or parts like that. Everybody got that? Okay. So, and the very last one is exportation. Okay. Suppose I have box and circle, then triangle. So if I have this and that, I have a triangle. Okay. Well, that's the same thing as saying, well, if I have a box, then if I have a circle, then I get the triangle. So what I did is I exported this second conjunct into the consequent of the conditional. Okay? And of course, if you had this, you could pull it out, exportation, backwards as it were. Now look, suppose that you wanted to have the square and the triangle together. Well, what you could do from here is say, well, I'm going to do com on the antecedent, then I'll do an exportation, and then I get this, then this, then that. So when you start using these rules in combination, these rules of replacement, you can end up doing lots of stuff.